I've done absolutely nothing, no.
Hey, seriously.
Put your gun down, really?
The cop's hand is already on your window. You've got your phone up, camera rolling. He clocks it immediately. And before you've said a single word, he says, "Put that away." Just like that. Flat. Final. Like it's settled law. And here's the thing. 9 out of 10 people fold right there. Phone goes down. Moments gone forever. And they don't realize that they may have given up the most powerful weapon in their case. This video is about the 5 situations where police will try to shut your camera down or take it from you altogether. I'm going to give you the exact words you may consider using, word for word, because the law isn't a mystery on this. It's been decided repeatedly at the federal level. Officers know it, but they're counting on you not to know it. First situation, the officer tells you recording a police officer performing his duty is illegal. You're parked on the shoulder and your phone is up. The officer leans into your window and says in a tone as cool as a cucumber that recording a cop in this state is against the law. Put it away or I'm going to arrest you. And most people, they believe him because he said it with authority, like someone who knows. But the truth is, he doesn't. There is not a single state in this country where recording a police officer openly in a public place is a crime. Not one. Every federal circuit court that has weighed in on this topic has come to the same conclusion. In fact, the 7th Circuit knocked out this theory back in 2012, when Illinois tried to make it a felony. Can you believe that? A felony for just filming a police officer on a public street? The court shut it down and ruled that the government cannot criminalize the conduct of someone watching it work. So, here's what you may say. Keep your voice respectful and level, and your hands visible. Officer, recording police in a public place is protected activity under the First Amendment. I'm not interfering with anything you're doing. Second situation. The officer goes straight to threats because you held your ground. They don't back off. Now they've got their forearms on your door and says, "Last chance, put the phone away or you're getting arrested for obstruction." This is where most people cave, because obstruction sounds serious and handcuffs are real. But here's what's real too. Multiple federal appeals courts across the country have ruled that arresting someone for recording police activity is an unconstitutional retaliation against a protected right. One case involved a journalist at a routine traffic scene. An officer blocked her camera shot, shined a light directly into her lens, and a cruiser was moved to cut off her angle. Every single one of those moves got flagged by the court as unconstitutional retaliation. The principle is locked in. Your camera is a First Amendment tool, and punishing you for using it is a civil rights violation. So if they escalate, say this: "Officer, federal courts have ruled that arresting someone for recording police is unconstitutional retaliation against a First Amendment right. I want to be respectful, but I can't voluntarily give that up. Now, and this is critical, if they move to arrest you anyway, do not resist. Comply with their commands, but say clearly, on camera, 'I am complying under protest. I do not consent to any search. I am invoking my right to an attorney.'" Here is the third situation. The officer flips the script and makes it about safety. They say, "Sir, I need you to lower that device. From where I'm standing, I can't confirm what's in your hand." The officer is trying to turn his request into an officer safety issue, a threat assessment issue. Suddenly, you're not arguing rights. You're being framed as a danger to the police. It's a smart move, and it works on most people because nobody wants to be seen as a danger to law enforcement, especially realizing that such a view can justify swift and violent escalation. However, the Supreme Court weighed in on this in the case of Riley versus California in 2014. The court unanimously agreed that digital stuff on a phone cannot be used as a weapon to hurt an officer. So, the usual officer safety excuse does not allow police to search the phone without a warrant. The safety exception that lets officers act fast without a warrant doesn't stretch to cover someone holding a phone and filming a stop. Welcome to the Four Eyes of Law. I am Larry J. Brookens, a California trial attorney with over 25 years of litigation experience. In this instance, you may say, "Officer, I understand your concern. My hands are in plain sight, and I'm not moving toward you. The Supreme Court ruled in Riley v. California that a phone doesn't constitute a physical threat. I'm recording for both our safety." Then narrate out loud, continuously, "My hands are visible. I am not reaching. I am not moving, or sitting and being still." That verbal record ties your physical position to the timestamp. However, do not physically resist the officer in any manner. If they later claim they felt threatened, you've got your own documentation saying otherwise. Fourth situation, the officer pulls out the department policy card. This one's slick because it sounds official. They say, "Sir, policy for our department prohibits civilian recording during active stops. Non-compliance is grounds for detention." People hear department policy and their brain files it under law, but it is not law. The United States Department of Justice issued clear guidance in this area. That guidance provides that citizens have a First Amendment right to record officers who are publicly carrying out their duties. Department policies that get in the way of that are unconstitutional. Full stop. No chief of police, no city ordinance, no internal memo overrides the Constitution. A department can set rules for its own officers. It cannot set rules for your rights. So, here's what you may consider saying. "Officer, I respect that your department has internal policies, but the Department of Justice has stated clearly that citizens retain First Amendment rights to record police in public. No department policy can override that." Then ask this one sharp question, and it matters. Are you asking me to stop recording, or are you ordering me to? If they say ordering, follow with, "Before I act on that, what's the constitutional basis for that order?" They either cite actual law, which doesn't support them here, go quiet, or engage in some other nonsensical mumbo-jumbo. Either way, you've made your position clear, and it's on tape. Fifth situation. The stop is winding down. You've been recording the whole time. The officer leans back in, almost relaxed now, and says, "I'm going to need you to hand over that phone." They say it nice and easy, just like it's nothing to give up your phone. As routine as handing over your registration. It is not. The Supreme Court settled this in Riley v. California. Police cannot search your phone without a warrant. Not during a traffic stop. Not as a condition of letting you leave. Your phone contains your entire life. Your messages, your finances, your location history, your photos. The court recognized that and drew a hard line. Asking for your phone is different from having the right to take it. Let's move on, and if this video has told you something, tap the bell and hit the subscribe button. Here's what you may consider saying, keeping the camera going when you say it. "Officer, I don't consent to any search of my device. If you believe you have legal grounds to take it, I'd ask you to state those grounds on camera." Then add, "I am not resisting, but I am not voluntarily surrendering my phone." If they take it anyway, don't fight or resist physically. Say clearly into the recording, "I do not consent to this seizure. I am complying under protest." That language is your Fourth Amendment claim on tape. A phone taken without a warrant and without consent can be challenges in court. It helps a great deal if you say the right words on tape. At this point, we're going to go over 4 very important phrases every person should know and commit to memory. They are only 4 short phrases, and you should know them as well as the happy birthday song we learned as kids. The first is, "Am I free to go?" This forces an officer into a mindset. They must pause and think. They wake up and know they must be very clear on what they are saying and about to do next, whether they have lawful grounds to detain you or allow you to walk away. Secondly, say, "I want to use or invoke my right to remain silent." One tricky part about this is that you must say it out loud to the officer before you can go silent. You can't just dummy up and go quiet and expect the right to go into effect. Courts have ruled that silence by itself isn't enough. You have to say out loud that you want to remain silent, then immediately go quiet. The third thing to say is, I want an attorney. The moment those words come out, questioning by the cops must stop. And finally, the fourth thing to consider saying is, I do not consent to any search. Practice saying these 4 phrases at home in front of a mirror or friend a few times. That way, they will come out naturally if you ever need to use them during a police encounter. This video is for information only. If you need specific legal advice, consult with an attorney in your jurisdiction. Here's the bottom line. Do all you can to remain calm, polite, and respectful when addressing an officer. Don't curse, don't match anyone else's aggressive energy or escalation. Do not try to debate the Constitution on the side of a road. The courtroom is the proper arena for that. But know this going in, your right to record police in public is not some hazy gray area that lawyers still argue about. It is a settled First Amendment right, confirmed by multiple federal courts and backed by the Department of Justice. Now, naturally, you cannot use your phone as a weapon, but the federal courts that have decided this issue thus far have ruled that a person has a right to keep their phone in their hand without handing it over simply because the police ask. When an officer tells you to turn off that camera or hand over that phone, they're either checking whether you know your rights or hoping you don't. Now check out this next video.